The warning came softly, almost swallowed by the wind. "Don't look there." Her voice trembled, not with fear of him, but with something older and heavier. Daniel Cross, a 35-year-old rancher hardened by sun and solitude, paused mid-step. The abandoned barn stood crooked against the horizon, its doors half torn away, shadows pooling inside like secrets that refused to stay buried. Maya was 30, sharp-eyed and careful with words. She had joined Daniel's ranch crew weeks earlier, keeping to herself, working harder than anyone, never complaining. He respected that. He respected her space. So when she warned him, he hesitated. Not because he was afraid, but because he understood warnings earned the right to be heard. "What's in there?" he asked gently. She shook her head. "Nothing you should see." The wind rattled the loose boards. Daniel looked at her face, tight jaw, eyes fixed anywhere but the barn. He had learned over years of cattle storms and broken fences that avoidance was a sign, sometimes of danger, sometimes of pain, sometimes of injustice left to rot. "I won't touch anything," he said, "but I need to know." She turned away. Daniel stepped forward anyway. Inside, the barn smelled of mold and neglect. Broken crates lay scattered. The ground was churned with old footprints. In the far corner, half hidden by hanging tarp, he saw it. An improvised enclosure, crude restraints bolted to beams, evidence of something that made his chest go cold. He didn't need imagination. The marks told the story. Behind him, Maya whispered, "I told you." He turned slowly. "Who did this?" Her shoulders lifted in a small, tired shrug. "People who don't think it matters." Daniel's hands curled into fists. He felt anger rise, not hot and reckless, but focused, the kind that sharpened resolve instead of clouding it. "Does anyone else know?" "They know," she said. "They just look away." That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. The ranch house creaked as it always did, but every sound carried weight. He replayed the scene, the warning, the choice to look. He understood now why she had asked him not to. Looking meant responsibility. At dawn, he made a decision. He called the county office, then the regional inspector. He documented the site with photos, notes, measurements. He asked Maya's permission before mentioning her name. She nodded once. "I'm tired of hiding," she said. Word spread faster than fire in dry grass. By afternoon, trucks lined the dirt road. Officials arrived, neighbors gathered. Some looked curious, some looked angry. A few looked scared, not of what was found, but of what it meant. The first shout came from a man Daniel recognized. "You had no right!" Daniel faced him calmly. "Everyone has a right not to be harmed." Another voice joined in. "You're ruining livelihoods!" Daniel replied evenly. "If a livelihood depends on cruelty, it deserves to end." The crowd shifted. Tension rippled. Maya stood beside him, spine straight, eyes steady. She wasn't hiding anymore. An older woman pushed forward. "She's exaggerating," she snapped, pointing at Maya. "Always dramatic." Maya met her gaze. "I asked him not to look because I knew you'd say that." The words landed like stones. Officials sealed the barn, statements were taken, names were recorded. As the sun dipped, the crowd thinned, leaving behind murmurs and promises of retaliation. Daniel walked Maya back to the ranch house, keeping pace with her silence. "They'll be angry," she said. "They already were," he replied. "They're just louder now." That night, someone cut a fence line. The next day, a threatening note appeared on Daniel's gate. He didn't flinch. He fixed the fence. He kept copies of everything. He called a lawyer. He installed lights. Maya watched all of it. "You don't have to do this," she said. "I already did," he answered, when I looked. Weeks passed. Investigations deepened. More sites were found. More voices came forward. The anger grew, but so did the support. People Daniel barely knew stopped by with food, tools, quiet thanks. They didn't want to be seen, not yet, but they wanted to help. Maya began speaking at meetings. She didn't dramatize. She didn't accuse broadly. She told the truth plainly, the way it lived in her body. Each time Daniel sat nearby, not to speak for her, but to make sure she wasn't alone. One afternoon, as they repaired a gate together, she said, "I thought if no one looked, it would go away." Daniel tightened a bolt. "Silence protects the wrong people." She nodded. "You didn't look like a hero." He smiled faintly. "Good. I'm a rancher. I fix what's broken." The backlash peaked the day charges were announced. Protesters blocked the road. Shouts filled the air. Someone threw a rock. It missed Daniel and skidded harmlessly into the dust. He stepped forward. "This ends today," he said, not loud but firm. Law enforcement arrived. Lines formed. The crowd dispersed. That evening, the ranch was quiet again. The kind of quiet that comes after storms pass. Maya stood on the porch, watching the sky turn gold. "I warned you," she said softly. "You trusted me enough to warn me," he replied. "That matters." She considered that, then smiled, small, real, unguarded. "What you did next," she said, "it changed things." He looked out over the land. It should. Months later, the barn was gone. The land reclaimed. New fences stood straight and honest. The community was changed, fractured in places, healed in others. Accountability had a cost. So did courage. Maya stayed. She led training, helped rebuild, made space for others to speak. Daniel returned to his routines, knowing some lines once crossed could never be uncrossed, but also knowing some needed to be. Sometimes, when the wind shifted, he remembered her warning, and he was grateful he looked anyway.